Right, section 3, let's roll. Okay, dimensional analysis is what we're going to talk about today. This is the process of including units of measurement when you compute or computate or just do a problem. It also helps make sure that your answers are reasonable. So when multiplying fractions, to multiply fractions, multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. And you just do it straight across. A times B, B times D. You just write them all across. So 1 times 2 is 3 times 5. 1 times 2 equals 2. 3 times 5 equals 15. Just multiply across and leave it just like that. Multiplying fractions is great. So are fractions related to the area of a rectangle? Well, yes. There's cool visualization here. So 3 times 4, or 2/3 times 4/3. If we're going to draw a rectangle with 4 columns, and then we were to shade 3 of them, we would have 3/4. And so if we're going to multiply that, we draw the rectangle into 3 rows and then shade 2/3 of them rectangles yellow. So there we'd have the other fourths here. So we had thirds going, or fourths going this way and thirds going this way. So the overlapping green area represents 2/3 of the 3/4. What would that product be? So 2 times 3, 3 times 4 would be 6/12. So there would be 6 of 12 are what happened when you multiply these together. And we'll skip those. All right, so write this product in simplest form. So we're going to first multiply across 2 times 5, 5 times 8. So we multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. So 2 times 5 is 10, 5 times 8 is 40. We can then simplify that to 1/4 because the greatest common factor is 10, or we can just see there's 2 zeros there, take off the zeros, divide them both by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10. Keeping going. All right, you try. All right, so we're going to first multiply across the top. 3 times 2 over 8 times 9. It's going to give us 6 over 72. Terrible twos. My apologies. All right, so the greatest common factor of this, can 6 go into here, I wonder? 72 divided by 6 comes in 12 times. Perfect. Divide by 6. Divide by 6. We'll go to 1/12. All right, do it again. Write this product in simplest form. This is going to be a little more complicated. So what they've done here is they've changed it out. So they put 8 over 9 and 5 over 6. And they're like, rather than just multiplying these and trying to reduce, let's reduce first. So are any of these opposite ones I could reduce? Well, these have a common factor of 2. So this one could go to 4 over 3. If I reduce those, I can't reduce them this way because those don't reduce anymore. So that's what they've done here. They divided their greatest common factors. Whoops, wrong button. So they've divided their greatest common factors here by 2. So here to here. So maybe when we're done and we multiply our numerators and denominators, it's not going to be quite as big in numbers to try to reduce from there. So 20 over 27, it would be done. I can't reduce that anymore. All right, try this one on your own. Go. All right, so this one we can actually reduce twice. So 3 over 8 times 12 over 15. These have a common factor of 3, so I can go to 1 and 5. These here can go down to 3 over 4. 4. Yeah. If I do them by 3, sorry, 4. So this would go, if I divide this by 4, it's going to go to 2. Divide this by 4, it's going to go to 3. Now I have 1 times 3 over 2 times 5. It's going to give me 3 over 10. All right, write this one in simplest form. Careful, there's a negative there now. Okay, so first we're going to write them out again. We're going to divide the greatest common factor of 2 on that 4 and 2 that are opposites there. Then we're going to multiply to get 1 over 14, and we'll keep the negative over there. Because there's only one thing it's negative. A negative times a positive, it has to stay negative. So that's why we keep the negative sign at the end. And go. All right, so we take 6 over 14 times 21 over 40. These are both divisible by 7, so that can go to 2 and 3. These are both divisible by, I think 40 is divisible by 6. Maybe not. Nope. So divide them by 2. So that'll give me 3 over 20. There we go. So now we can have 3 times 3 over 2 times 20. Give me 6 over 40. That's hilarious. That's exactly what we just had. Whoops, 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And it'll carry the start as a negative and a positive. Keep the negative. Make sure you stay detailed. Don't forget that I told you guys that negative symbols were my nemesis. All right, write this product in simplest form. So we have 2 mixed numbers here. So first we're going to rename these by multiplying them out. So we're doing the circle method here. So this one, we could go 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that gives me 3 over 2. 3 over 2. And to get this 11 over 3, I go 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Now, can I reduce these at all? Well, there's 3 and 3 on opposite corners, so those 2 I can turn to 1. So it'll end up being just 11 over 2. And then I could simplify that down into 5.5. And go. All right, so first I'm going to change these into fractions. So I'm going to multiply this, is going to be 14. And I'm going to add 2 is going to be 16 over 7. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is going to be 13 over 4. These I can divide by 4, so that can go to 1. That can go to 4. That I can't do anything with. 13 times 4 is 52. And that's going to be over 7. And that's as far as that can go. So 52 over 7. I'd probably just leave it there and not put it back into a mixed number because it gives us both answers here in the book. All right, write this in as a product in simplest form. So first we're going to write them out with, I'm going to make these 2 P's and 2 Q's. And again, we're doing crossing, cross the multiplication symbol here. So I can reduce them earlier. So I can take 1 Q away from each side, nothing else there. And so I'll end up with 3P squared Q over R. All right, you try. All right, so 5M and then NN. A big multiplication symbol there over PP. See, this side's going to have M and P. So I can cross out one of each of these and then N times N. So I can take N, take out N. 5mm, so 5m squared over P. That's all I got. All right, the track at Coles High School is a quarter-mile round. If Cole runs 1 lap in 2 minutes, how far in miles does he run in 30 minutes? Well, 1 lap takes 2 minutes, so a mile would be in 8 minutes. All right, let's go. Distance equals rate multiplied by the time. So let D times distance, rate, and time. Distance equals rate times time is the formula we're going to use. We'll keep going. So the distance is a quarter mile for every 2 minutes and a total of 30 minutes. So we put down the formula, divide the common factors into units and units. So a quarter mile every 2 minutes. So this per is going to be a division symbol like that. Let's delete that off of there. And then times 30 minutes. This distance equals rate times time, because we're looking for D over here technically. So rate times how long? Well, I have 2 minutes and 15 minutes, or 2 minutes and 30, so I can turn that into 1 and 15. The minutes also cross out. So it'd be quarter times 15. So a quarter times 15 will be 15 over 4. Or this time you're actually going to probably want to go into this one and go 3 1/4 miles. So Cole runs 3 3/4 miles in 30 minutes. So the problem asked you for distance. When you divide the common units, the answer isn't expressed in miles, so the answer is reasonable. This is what we're saying by at the very beginning there, making sure it's a reasonable answer by using units. All right, you try. All right, Bob walks 2.5 miles in 12 minutes. How far does he go, or 2/3 of a mile in 12 minutes? How far does he walk in 30? So I'm going to take 2/3 of a mile. Distance equals rate times time. So my rate is going to be 2/3 of a mile per 12 minutes. And that's going to be in 30 minutes is my time. And that's going to equal my distance. All right, I can do, this is going to be over 1 technically. So 12 to 30, I can take 6 out of each of those. So that'll go to 2 and 5. 6 divided by there, 5. So 2/3 divided by 2 times 5. And I'm just going to punch that into my calculator here. 2/3 divided by 2 would go to 1/3, because half of 2/3 would be 1/3. And then I'm going to multiply that by 5 times 5. 1.66 is what I get. 66, so that would be 1 2/3.